These two soldiers are on an important mission. Above them, the roar of the plane fades. Below them lies their homeland occupied by the Nazis, and somewhere down there is their target, Reinhard Heydrich, the Butcher of Prague. One of the key architects of the Holocaust. Hitler calls him the man with the Iron Heart. He's responsible for more than 1.5 million deaths, and he doesn't have the faintest idea they're coming for him. Confirmed. Warning, this video includes descriptions of suicide and mass murder committed under the Nazi regime. Our coverage is largely based on these two books. This is a photo of Reinhard Heydrich and his wife Lena. It was taken in May 1932 at the Wallenstein Pale in Prague, where they attended a concert. Reinhard Heydrich loves music. He's the son of a singer and composer. But despite showing musical talent as a child, he chose a very different path for himself. After graduating from school, he joined the Reichsmarine, the German Navy. Heydrich is tall, blonde, and athletic. He looks like he walks straight out of a Nazi propaganda poster. But this picture-perfect facade is deceptive. He speaks with a strangely thin, high-pitched voice. He's said to have been haunted by deep insecurity and self-hatred. In school and also in the Navy, people mock him. Rumors spread that he has Jewish roots. They call him Blonde Moses in a Germany turning toward Nazism. It's a nickname he despises. In December 1930, he meets Lena von Owen at a dance in Kiel. After just 4 dates, they get engaged. It's said that he was drawn to her Nordic looks, maybe hoping they'd silence those rumors about him having Jewish ancestry. But then scandal strikes the newly engaged couple. Heydrich is brought before a naval court of honor. A former girlfriend accuses him of breaking a promise to marry her. He's discharged from the Navy, a humiliating fall from grace. But unfortunately, it's not the end of his career. A few months later, a family friend introduces him to Heinrich Himmler. Heydrich joins the Nazi Party and the SS, and from there his rise is meteoric. In just a few years, Heydrich becomes one of the most powerful men in Nazi Germany. He's made chief of the Reich Security Main Office, the SS and police agency. In 1938, he orchestrates Kristall Nacht, the night of broken glass. Across Germany, synagogues burn, Jewish businesses are ransacked, and thousands of people are arrested, beaten, or killed. In July 1941, Heydrich is tasked with planning what the Nazis call the final solution to the Jewish question, the blueprint for the systematic mass murder of Europe's Jews. Heydrich is the boss of Adolf Eichmann, another key Holocaust architect we covered in this video. A few months later, in autumn 1941, Heydrich receives a significant promotion. He's sent to Prague as deputy Reich Protector of Bohemia and Moravia. Nazi Germany occupied the Czech lands in 1939, and the Reich Protector Konstantin von Neurath governs the territory. But von Neurath is considered too lax, so Heydrich becomes the de facto governor. He definitely isn't too lax. Hitler has sent the man with the Iron Heart. Heydrich orders mass arrests, executions, and deportations. Thousands of Czechs are sent to concentration camps. His reign of terror earns him a title that history will never forget, the Butcher of Prague. To the outside world, it appears Heydrich has crushed the Czech resistance, but in the shadows, a plan to assassinate him is in motion. While Heydrich makes himself comfortable with his family, his castle near Prague, hundreds of kilometers away, 2 soldiers are training to kill him. The Czech government is in exile. Its leaders are in London. Czech military intelligence is cooperating with the British Special Operations Executive. Together they plan a top-secret mission to assassinate Heydrich. Operation Anthropoid. Enter Jan Kubiš and Wojciech Gabczuk. Meeting in Poland in 1939, they eventually joined the French Foreign Legion, the only way to fight back. In the ranks of the Legion, they become good friends. After the fall of France, Czech forces are moved to Britain. In the autumn of 1941, Gabczuk is chosen for Operation Anthropoid. When his partner suffers an injury during training, Gabczuk insists that Kubiš be the one to replace him. Both men are proud soldiers who had watched their homeland fall to the Nazis without a fight. Now they're determined to strike back no matter what the cost. Together, they prepare for one of the most dangerous missions of the war, to strike at the heart of the Nazi regime. 3D scenes like these are made by humans. Greetings from our team, but to keep things running behind the scenes, we rely on partners like our long-term sponsor, Udo. Udo is an all-in-one business management software. It's designed to cover everything you need to run and grow a company with more than 45 applications, including a powerful project management app. It lets you create projects with custom stages, add tasks, and assign a person in charge. You can set up each task with priorities, tags, and deadlines to keep things clear, collaborate easily with your team, and stay productive wherever you are. The app allows you to monitor your project through different views, from Kanban to Gantt and list view. The first Udo app is free for life, including unlimited hosting and support. When your business grows, Udo grows with you. All apps work seamlessly together and are available from $19.90 per month. Scan this QR code or check the link in the description to get started. In the early hours of December 29, 1941, a British Halifax bomber drops its deadly cargo, Gabshik and Kubish, but heavy snow blinds the crew, making navigation nearly impossible, so they accidentally drop Gabshik and Kubish at the wrong location. Instead of landing east of Pilsen, they end up east of Prague. As they approach the ground, Gabčík misjudges the height and injures his left foot. Now they have no idea where they are. It's night and it's cold. The two soldiers bury their parachutes in the snow and take shelter in the abandoned tunnels of an old stone quarry. Their landing hasn't gone unnoticed. During the night, a local gamekeeper heard the plane, climbed onto the roof of his house, and saw two parachutes heading toward him. The next morning he finds the buried parachutes and follows a trail of footprints in the snow. It doesn't take him long to find Gabčík and Kubish and confront them. The young men pretend to be surveyors, but their cover story quickly falls apart and they reluctantly admit the truth. Luckily, the gamekeeper wants to help them. They're stunned to find out they've landed 20 meters from Prague, far from their contacts. Gabčík is injured and the mission already looks doomed, but then fate intervenes. A local miller, who also heard the plane that night, tracks them down. He's a member of Soul, a banned Czech nationalist group, and offers to connect them with the underground network in Prague. It violates the strictest rules of their mission: no contact with the local resistance until their mission is over. But they're desperate. They have no choice but to accept help. Over the next few months, they're sheltered by a network of brave families, ordinary people risking everything to feed and hide them. Reinhard Heydrich is busy organizing the infamous Vons Conference, a meeting called to streamline the mass murder of Jews. He doesn't realize that all the while, two men are observing him, learning his habits, noting every route and ritual. They even have inside help from people working in his castle. They sketch out several ideas for how to take him out. An attack at his castle or his estate isn't an option. The SS guards them too closely, but they see another opening. Heydrich always travels without guards, accompanied only by his chauffeur. It's the one time he's exposed, so they decide to strike while he's on the road. They consider stretching a wire across the street to force his car to slow down, but time is running out. They hear rumors that Heydrich might leave Prague soon. The pressure mounts and they need to move quickly. May 26, 1942, in a magnificent concert hall, Heydrich and his wife enjoy compositions by his father Bruno. Not far away, two men finish their final checks. Tomorrow, they'll attempt to kill the butcher of Prague. Gabčík is armed with a British Sten gun. Kubish holds the explosives. They pack two briefcases. One contains the disassembled Sten gun, while the other holds two bombs. To an observer, the briefcases look ordinary. The weapons are hidden beneath layers of fresh grass. It's the perfect cover. With wartime food shortages, many locals keep rabbits, so carrying grass for feed is a common sight. The next morning, Reinhard Heydrich's day begins peacefully. It's a fresh spring morning. He finishes breakfast and plays with his three children. His wife is pregnant with a fourth. At around 10, he leaves the safety of his castle with his chauffeur. On a narrow street in the Liebane district on the outskirts of Prague, Gabčík waits. Kubish is positioned here, just a few meters away. Both have stood here for over an hour, tense, silent, ready. Then finally Heydrich's Mercedes-Benz pulls up. Not yet. Not yet. Now Gapshik steps forward, throws off his raincoat, raises the stem, and pulls the trigger. But nothing happens. Months of training. For this one moment, and the gun jams. Maybe grass clogged the mechanism. The Sten had a reputation for jamming easily. Or maybe it's just bad luck. We'll never know. Idrich thinks there's only one attacker, so he yells at his driver to stop and draws his pistol. Kubish seizes the moment, but he misjudges his throw. Heydrich survives. Kubish scrambles onto his bicycle and disappears down the street. Gapik is chased by Heydrich's driver and flees into a nearby butcher shop. When the driver bursts in, Gapshik finally makes the stem work, shooting him in the leg and escaping. Both assassins get away, but there's no sense of triumph. The mission failed. They haven't eliminated their target, but Heydrich is critically wounded by the explosion. He's rushed to Balabsa hospital in a passing delivery truck, and on June 4, 1942, 8 days after the attack, Reinhard Heydrich subsumes to his wounds. Immediately after the assassination, the Gestapo launches a massive manhunt for the attackers, but they have no real leads. Frustrated, the regime demands blood to avenge the death of the deputy, right protector. The Nazis choose the village of Leda, which has not 3 residents, for their revenge. They suspect some within the village support the attackers, but there's no real evidence of this. On June 10, 1942, a few hours after midnight, Nazi troops raid the village. They shoot 73 men on the spot. The women are sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp. Children under 8-year-old and those selected for re-education through placement in German families remain alive. All other children are killed at the Chelno extermination camp in Poland. Of the village's former inhabitants, only 3 women and 17 children survived the war. After murdering or deporting the villagers, the Nazis destroy the entire village, the homes, the church, even the cemetery. They film the entire process. By 1943, only this empty field remains. For the Nazis, the destruction of the town is symbolic of their power. Usually they would try to hide their war crimes, but this time their brutality is on full display. The bloodbath turned into propaganda but even after burning Leda to the ground and murdering most of its inhabitants, the Nazis aren't done. They want to find the men behind the attack, so they announce an amnesty. Anyone who comes forward with information will be spared, and there's a reward. 1 million Reichsmarks. One of Gapshik and Kubish's comrades takes the deal. His name's Karl Chugda. His story is similar to theirs. He fled to Poland, joined the French Foreign Legion, and trained in Britain for special operation. He was also brought to the Protectorate for a mission, but on June 16, 1942, he decides to collaborate with the Gestapo in Prague. In exchange for new identity and the cash, he gives them the assassins and the names of the families sheltering them. One of them is the Moravits family. The Gestapo storms their home. The mother takes her own life with poison, but her son is taken for interrogation. Using truly unspeakable methods, they break him. He eventually tells them what his mother once told him. If you're ever in serious trouble, go to the Church of St. Cyril and Methodius. Inside this Orthodox church, Gapshik and Kubish have found refuge. Here, in the damp darkness of the crypt, the 2 assassins and 5 other paratroopers wait for orders from London. They know about Leda. They know that hundreds of innocents have already died in the Nazi reprisals. Crushed by guilt, they consider committing suicide in a public park. They hope that leaving a note claiming responsibility might finally stop the killings, but before they can make their move, it's too late. The Nazis surround the church. Then all hell breaks loose. 7 men against more than 700 SS and Gestapo troops. When the Nazis can't break through their defenses, they flood the crypt. Kubish dies from injuries he suffered in the firefight. Then one by one, the other paratroopers choose death over capture. Some use cyanide, others their last bullets. In the end, both of Heydrich's assassins are dead. Dozens of resistors, entire families are executed for helping them. Among them Bishop Gast and other members of the Czech Orthodox Church. And the Nazis' revenge doesn't end there. Just days later, they wipe another village, the Jaichi, off the map. Every adult in the village is executed. Most children are deported and killed, and the village is burned to the ground. Like Leyte, the Jachi simply ceases to exist. After the end of World War II, Nazi official Karl Hermann Frank, who ordered the mass murder in Leyte and Laki, was convicted and executed. Karel Chugda had continued to work with the Gestapo until the end of the war. He then attempted to flee but was captured and sentenced to death. He was executed in Prague on April 19 in 1997. Even after her husband's death, Lena Heydrich remained a prominent figure. She didn't return to Germany until 1945. After the country surrendered her husband's property was seized, confiscated as the assets of a war criminal. She spent the rest of her life defending his legacy, repeatedly denying that her late husband was responsible for any war crimes. In the 1950s, she won several lawsuits against West Germany, securing a substantial widow's pension and regaining her luxurious summer home. Today, a memorial stands at the site of the ambush in Prague. It honors Wysef Gabik, Jankubish, and a third figure representing the Czech civilian resistance. In the Czech villages of Leyte and Yaki, memorials mark the sites of the mass killings. These places serve as not just reminders of lives lost, but as warnings to never let something like this happen ever again.